Hello and welcome. Today I'm joined by Dominick Miserandino, a true internet pioneer and one of the most versatile operators in the media, retail, and technology space. He's a seven-time CEO. That's a lot of CEO time, and C-suite executive who has led organizations through growth, transformation, and some awesome exits over a 30-year career that started at NASA, Morgan Stanley, and the Wall Street Journal before he built one of the internet's longest-running entertainment publications from scratch, homemade, did it himself with his team. Awesome. He served as CEO of RetailWire, one of the most respected voices in the retail industry, and now leads Retail Tech Media Nexus, a platform at the intersection of retail, technology, and media. He also hosts his own podcasts, sits on multiple advisory boards, including Engage3 and Hot AI, and serves as Chief Communications Officer of the Retail AI Council. He's coached over 200 CEOs, mentored startups across 4 languages, and has been a sought-after media voice on TV, radio, and print worldwide. One of my heroes. Welcome, Dominick. Very nice to spend some time with you.
Oh, shucks. Oh, shucks. I'm honored to be on the famous podcast.
That's the clip right there, by the way. That's the LinkedIn clip right there. That's it. We can just cut.
That's it. I'm honored to be, the famous podcast. I'm ready to take over the world here.
Fantastic. So I'd love to get into the operator's mindset. So you started at NASA. You've actually helped build rockets. So when I run around saying,
I didn't build rockets.
You've done it. You've done that.
No, I never built a rocket. Let me just be clear. No rocket building. The story is I was working on Wall Street at the time, and
Yes.
we're saving to get married and first house, that sort of thing. And I had a call to build a database at NASA. And I guess at
Or a rocket, though.
Yes. Actually, no. I don't remember what the project was. It was some sort of thing. I'm working on a database. And I used to fly down on the weekends. So I'd work from Monday to Friday night I'd fly down, Sunday night I'd fly back. I remember there was weeks I clocked in 80 hours like it was nothing. I was sleeping on the plane. I was surviving on the plane, if you will. It was insane. It was a great start to the universe. So right there. But yeah, that's the secret story that people, but yeah, I've done NASA, I've done Hearst, I've done WallStreetJournal.com, had around Pix. I've had a few nice little companies out there.
So look, your mileage may vary, and I think it does, but many media founders don't really think like operators. My experience. Some do, but many don't. How did you really develop a P&L discipline to take Inquisitor from debt to profitability? Because that's a journey.
I appreciate that. It was actually, I think the better reflection to me is when I ran and owned the Celebrity Cafe, I used to get invited to every red carpet. I've been to parties, can't even mention on a podcast, or invited to, I should say. Yeah, I was invited to a lot of well-known parties and such. I think the joy of that, the ego of that, oh my God, I'm being invited to this famous event.
Sure.
Fashion Weeks, Playboys, Penthouses, you name it, I was invited to things. I remember sitting there balancing my time saying, how much is that earning me? Well, it was a high level of joy. Can you fly to San Francisco to test drive a Lexus for fun? Can you test the Krispy Kreme donut in North Carolina's factory? I mean, major cool events.
Yeah.
But when you started calculating the time, I started saying,
the Lexus people don't want the donut in the car at the same time, I'm assuming.
no, two different events. Let's get that clear. The yield on return. The joy on return was high, but it wasn't like I could run the business. It wasn't like I could sell the ads. It wasn't like I could manage the team. And I started that switch to P&L mindset right there. It was interesting because I enjoyed it. But eventually I said, wait a minute, I'm going to Manhattan to hang out at this $50 billion. But what's the return? And I think at first I didn't see that joy. I didn't see the differentiation. And then eventually I went, wait a minute, how am I going to make revenue? And I think that was where I started questioning what generates the revenue at the end of the day. What is this, a revenue event or not? And that was where that operating mindset kicked in. So yeah,
So does that, what I would call a builder's mindset, does that sort of inform how you're advising digital and e-com retail leaders today? I mean, does that really say, hey, I started to go down this road and quickly realized it was probably not the most fun road, but not necessarily the right one. And, don't make sort of the same mistakes I made or could
that
have
is
made.
probably 95% of my advice at times when I'm advising startups. I've thankfully coach a lot of CEOs too, and I think we all by human nature get lost in the moment or the situation, the excitement, the oh my god, I was invited to sponsor this show, I was invited to meet with this great guy. There was a point, I mean, I get dozens of meeting requests every week, and then I have to say, okay, what is going to ultimately move the business? Now at times that math is not always dollar.
Right. Right. That's a fine line.
And you need to equate and say, okay, I'm going to meet this person and this part goes to here. That's more time management. I'm very big on trying to optimize my time, very big on that. But generally, I think the most operators lose sight of that. I'm dealing with one now, and they're fundraising and fundraising and fundraising and fundraising. And I kind of thought, yeah, that's absolutely necessary, and one should. But by the time they're done fundraising, they've lost sight of the fact that their product is probably going to be out of alignment with the market at that point. I think it's not exclusively the operator mindset in terms of revenue too. At times, you have to see what hits what, and that's the complexity of the business, running a business. You have to say, what does this event lead to with this? What is this? How does this help this? And it is always a calculation, but at times I think it's the calculation towards whatever that ultimate goal is. For me, test driving the Lexus in San Francisco was high on fun, but the story was going to yield me X amount of revenue. Personal joy, but you have to bucket it. And I notice a lot of operators get lost in that. That's probably one of the most common issues, that they get lost in those buckets.
No, it makes sense. I mean, and look, you need both buckets. Otherwise you go crazy. But like you do need both buckets. But to your point, they better be balanced. Some relative sense of balance to them.
And you have to see how they all react and make sense. And yeah, I'm not saying don't. I'm saying you just look at what's happening and does it match up or not?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you talk about matching up. I mean, you were running RetailWire, one of the most respected forums for senior retail executives for a while. And I'm sure not everybody agreed on everything. If you recall, I'm just curious, what were some of like the hottest debates amongst retail leaders while you
I've noticed differing debate in that I came from media to retail. Well, in media, the end goal in that world are the retailers saying, can you test drive this car to tell me your opinion on how to sell it? I have on my desk as a reminder, and everyone knows as who's done a call with me. Like used to get mailed AirPods. Can you talk to
Yeah,
me for 5 minutes? And I'll give you an AirPod
yeah.
as a thank you.
Did you ever get one AirPod and said, call me, I'll send you the other one? Did you ever get one of those?
No, that scares me.
I've gotten those. I got one AirPod in the
You
if
turn.
you set a meeting with me, I'll send you the other AirPod.
I would say, okay, I'm cool. Thanks. Still
Yeah,
works.
no, I didn't know. I was curious if you got one of
No,
those.
but the question I heard on that end of the equation, how do I sell more widgets? Dominic, you know how to get the eyeballs from the media side. How do I get those eyeballs to buy more t-shirts? And then conversely, I'd see this NRF kind of debate, I'd call it, where you go to the conference floors and people were debating the most optimal 3PL. And you're like, okay, I feel like it almost reminds me of the previous question you had, though. Ultimately, what's the goal of the business? Ultimately, what's the driving P&L? At times, we get debating on these nuances, and then I'll get the call later, like, I don't care. I just need to sell more t-shirts today. What the hell do I do?
Yeah.
One is really good when the business is flying and you can afford to. It's almost like comparing airlines. When you have the 5 minutes and you can say, okay, which flight to Vegas is cheaper today? Let me A, B. And another is the other question, which is going to get my revenue, the Vegas conference or the Miami conference or the Dallas conference.
Yeah.
And that always struck me because when I entered retail, people like, "Oh my God, you're coming from nowhere." And I thought, I've been dealing with retail for 30 years, but selling the product, not necessarily the most optimal way to stock the shelves.
Sure.
They're
Sure.
both necessary, but it struck me as funny how one never sometimes sees the other, if that makes any sense. So
No,
that
it
was the
totally
debate.
does. Yeah, no, look, it really, really does. And, it's interesting to me. I mean, I've been in digital my entire career. I have been long since a champion of look, CACs go in basically one direction up. I mean, over a macro period of time, they only go up. You better figure out how to, if you're a very good retail operator, how to become a good omni-channel operator. And what it sounds like is you've probably not encountered too many of them where they're just really just laser focused on A or B without really synthesizing all that together.
That is, first of all, so common. I ran and I was a CMO of one company, one retailer. I was a CMO, and it amazed me how a lot of dot coms anyway, the problem has become they double down on the one strategy. We're really good at Google SEO. We're really good now at social media. We're really good at this. Similarly, almost when we describe it as omni-channel, everyone gets like really good at the thing. They love it, and naturally I can understand that. You go to the board of directors and you say, "Hey, I'd like budget for this." Well, what's working? Let's double down on that. Let's double down on that. And they don't try the other.
By the way, private equity. I mean, like this is the language, right? This is how it works. What's working? How can I accelerate it?
Exactly. And my argument continually is you try the other things constantly because, and maybe it's from 30 years of .com. I've seen Google switch in the business out of business. I mean, I've had that phone
Overnight.
call.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I had a phone call very recently where the revenue tanked 90% overnight. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, now you're done. You put it all on. I jokingly said, you bet it all on red and it's spun black. And what are you going to do now? I mean,
basically.
and I've seen that a lot too. But it's so interesting to me when I have these conversations because they're all necessary. It's so important to go omni. It's so important to diversify. It's so important to know all the things. So at the times I find the debate becomes the nuance of the thing. But to me, it's most important to know all
The
the
nuances where so many of these people get lost and they just get so down in the weeds and they're not zooming back and go, oh my God, the house is on fire. But like my blades of grass, or I wish I could get them, all straight. Like it doesn't matter, guys. Like it's not going to move your business forward.
No, and there's a place for it. Don't get me wrong. There's a place for it when you're running that $100 million retailer and you have the divisions. That's not, the phone calls I'm getting are the 1 to 5 to 10 millions saying, what the hell do I do now? And that's the most common. But yeah, different story when you get there, then you're not having the one social media manager, you're having a social media manager dedicated to Facebook, dedicated to Facebook ads, and so on and so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
But I think that's been the name of the game all along. One has to understand the whole ecosystem completely.
you know, ecosystem, you can't have an ecosystem without having a conversation about Amazon. It's just impossible today. Do you recall sort of a moment when the conversation shifted was how do we compete with Amazon? Because I've been at lots of dinners and lots of events, where people would say, I'm never going to put my product on Amazon, blah, 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 blah. And then, there's a shift, right? There was obviously a shift where brands that were just never going to go on, they're on and they're doing quite well. What's your experience with that?
It's a constant conversation. I snickered because I could have answered that question with the phone calls I've had this week regarding it. You know, oh yeah, it's become the market, first of all. If you're going to order online, you're going to Amazon. Some people, I did recall having a conversation maybe a few years back. Someone said, I'm ordering online. And I said, what website? And they responded, what do you mean to order online? You have to go to Amazon. The woman did not understand you could order from somewhere besides Amazon. Like it was the standard to her life experience. She was
Yeah.
older. That's what she perceived. I think it's an interesting situation because once you're beholden to certain markets, you're a slave to that market. The solution, you want to get that direct customer, etc. I've been advocating saying I think retailers and brands need to go way experiential.
Yes. Totally.
I point to Spirit Halloween. Everyone knows those stores pop up. By all rights, it's a product that could probably be thrown on Amazon.
All day, by the way.
Yeah. And yet we all know, I want to go down to Spirit, let's say, or where the Spirit popped up in town, it becomes a little thing. And I think there's certainly evidence, like here on Long Island, there was a coffee chain that served all the coffee in pumpkins for Halloween. And I thought, genius. They bought $1 pumpkin, carved it out, scooped it out, boom, done. Line was out the door. And I think those are the ways the coffee chain competes with the Starbucks. A Starbucks would have encountered more
That's
difficult.
beyond them. Starbucks can't they can't operationalize something like that if they had to. It's just not in their wheelhouse.
Bingo. And I think if you have that mindset that I'm going to be ruined by Starbucks, you're never going to think like that. If in the turn to how do I get the line out the door? Joe, go down the block, buy 500 mini pumpkins.
That's it. That's what it is.
And no one's just buying the pumpkin. And not everyone in the car is going to get the pumpkin. Generally, one person gets the pumpkin and try it. The rest of them will say free that. Grandma and grandpa like, just buy me anything, buy me a coffee. And then they're getting pastries. So the cost is one pumpkin per car, maybe two. And they were selling out literally lines on the block. So when it comes to your Amazon question, I think there are ways of doing it. One of the things I advised one of my recent clients, and I always stick by it, I had her call every single customer to say thank you. In fact, I got it when I did this myself. This is what inspired it. When I was running Adorama picks, I called the top customers every week on my commute to Brooklyn. Every week, I'd go to Brooklyn and I'd call the top customers, 20 phone calls. Just want to say thank you. How'd the order go? Did it get there? Good. Just want to make sure you're good. I just have a sheet, print out like the top 20 selectively. There was hundreds, so I couldn't call everybody. And it was, number one, a great data point. Did the order go good? Number two, at times you could immediately respond and fix. One of them said, I couldn't find this and this and this. So listen, I'll be in the office in an hour. I'll figure it out with you. I'll do like a Google Meet and we'll look at it together.
Yeah.
One of them said, I don't like the quality. I said, why don't you come? We'll do a factory tour for you. Coming down. We'll do a little tour, you and me. But I feel like by doing that personalized outreach, it's hard time management. That's a whole different story.
Right. It doesn't cost you nothing because your time has value, of course. But like you're not, it's not a CapEx, right? Like you don't have to go to a PE, to a board, to whatever, and go, oh, I want to do it. You're just doing this for.
And I was constantly basically similar script. How was the order? How can I help? What else do you want? And 99% of the time, the customer wanted something else.
Okay.
And very often they would say, like, I want A, B, and C, but there's not a coupon for that. And I would almost customize, like, all right, you want a coupon for this?
There is now.
Yeah, there's a Tim Z coupon right here. Tim Z 23. If you order exactly that, God bless. And it's being present. The other thing I did, which I was proud of, is I moved my office out of my office, sat with the customer service. And I remember
I've done that, by the way. Very smart. Very, very smart, because by osmosis, you're going to get the vibe, what's actually going on.
Oh, my favorite was I overheard a major celebrity ordering, and no one in the customer service recognized the name, and I recognized the name. I was like, oh my goodness, this person's
You're probably at a party with them,
So I said, get the order printed now. I'm going to take it in the car. And I drove it, hand delivered. I'm the CMO. I'd like to hand deliver the order. And I, did the selfie on it, the whole 9 yards. The value of that was so far greater. And I wouldn't have known it unless I was present.
You were camped out with those guys.
Absolutely. You had to be. So I do think that is such an important reflection of, when I say experiential, just getting in there. Just getting in there, getting dark right there and saying, hey, what do I need to do?
By the way, there's no replacement for that. Like people, you listen to these futurologists at 4 a.m. on YouTube, you really want to get depressed, like you should do that, but don't do that. But they'll all tell you that, it's all done. It can't do that. No LLM, and we're both in the AI world extensively.
No, even
They
AI.
will never be able to do that properly, ever.
No, one of the people, a lot of people know me. I'll try doing a lot of calls Saturday morning while I'm cleaning the house for the same reason. There's so much more value between, hey, Tim, dude, let's catch up. What the hell's going on? What do you need? I think I also feel like the death of businesses, I always joke, is a Calendly link in that you schedule these 30-minute meetings and you have to fill the 30, which inevitably causes 15 minutes you get your shit done and 15 minutes you got to fill in the clock to get done. And number one, it's a time waste if you cover those goals. And number two, there is a value to, dude, what's going on? Tim, talk to me. I got 5 minutes. I'm standing outside the CVS. Let's handle it. And I think it's just having that goal-oriented mindset, that deliverable-oriented mindset. What do I need to do to move that needle? I don't know. It's been a societal shift, and I think we have been used to a mindset of just, oh, I have to fill the clock. No, you don't have to fill the clock.
You
Monday
don't.
to
Oh,
home.
you don't. Like you just don't. And look, to me, it just goes back to your what is the ROI on having a meeting to have a meeting, only to have we had a meeting to have another meeting? Like, let's decide something. Let's just decide a thing rather than just get bogged down on the blocking and tackling of whatever that is. I mean,
I
it's
used
so
to love, I still do, when I had my weekly team meetings in one company, I would make it a goal. Can I get this meeting down to 8 minutes, 6 minutes? And they thought I was nuts. I'm like, dude, I want to hang out with everyone. I do, but I want you to use your time. So we'd almost dedicate conversations like this would be the weekly hangout. You know what I'm saying? The get meeting done? No. Meetings to me, I don't know why we always have to fill the block. We got it done. Great. Let's move forward.
and by the way, it's like, okay, let's go do something after that. Like, let's do something fun after that. Like, that's okay.
Absolutely. And I
You know?
love that mindset. Let's just have fun when we're going to have fun and do that. And when we're having our meeting, let's move forward. Let's just move forward in life at this point.
Yeah, I wanted to stay, if we could, a little bit on Amazon. Their
Oh, please.
RMN, it has become one of the most powerful demand gen tools that I've seen. I mean, if used properly, right? How are you seeing brands think about that as one piece of a true omni-channel investment and not the whole game? In other words, if you're going to go invest, for instance, in Thursday Night Football or Twitch or what have you on their RMN, yeah, it should drive your Amazon business. But how are you seeing brands that are, true omni and they have thousands of points of distribution? What are the smart people doing there?
That's actually, to me, one of the biggest debates right now. I think it's very challenging. Very. Because the goal is at times, it's kind of like this weird paradox. I want to be in Amazon, but I don't want to be on Amazon. Well, I want only direct sales, I'll hear all the time, but we have to be on Amazon. And that to me is the question that comes out of it. Like, I want to be on Amazon, but how do I not be on Amazon? It's like Schrodinger's cat. Which is it?
That's an exhausting conversation, by the way.
It is exceptionally. And I feel for most retailers and brands, because the paradox becomes, if you succeed at Amazon, you're screwing your own business sometimes. Your direct sales, why am I ordering direct? It's not easy. I don't often see great examples of a client company succeeding on Amazon, converting them to the rest of their ecosystem.
Right. So they're seeing it as just a zero sum game. They're not seeing it as look, my category is 100. I have a 2 share of the category. They're not seeing macro level, or omni level, they have a 2 share of the category. They're not saying, hey, there's 98 other points in the category. I want to go get a couple, 3 of them. You're not seeing these guys actually do that successfully yet.
Second part, do that successfully yet? I mean, there are examples I could think of successful, but most of the time it's a challenge. It's a big challenge. And I think it almost reflects the consumer. Number one, that example I gave of the 75-year-old woman who said you could order online without Amazon. Yeah, Amazon does not mean order.
Mother-in-law, by the way, I think that was my mother.
It could have been. It was probably my mother-in-law. That's what they know. And then you have the second issue. Like you're that personalized brand. Like actually, no, it's just so there's one personalized brand I know and have helped. And they personalize their product. Well, you put it on Amazon into an ecosystem where it's a return mentality. Order it, don't like it, return it. It wasn't even worth the return at that point. You don't need another Tim Z wallet coming in the door. Return. What am I going to do with a Tim Z wallet? They just didn't like it.
You're going to donate that or whatever. Yeah.
Or find another Tim Z. That would be good too. It's funny to me because the reason the pause on this is I think we have a societal question. Like on one hand, society is loving this experiential TikTok shop, Facebook Lives, personalized events, pop-up stores. We do great on that. We want personalized. But then again, we like Temu. We like Amazon. We like ordering it and having it show up in 4 minutes on our doorstep. So I don't honestly, the question is a good one because I wonder where does the answer lie when you have a consumer that goes into this system of just order my Tim Z wallet on Amazon. I didn't like it, return it, order another one, return it, order another one, return it. And not only that, I do believe the loyalty, I don't know how much is there in the sense, if you're going on Amazon to order that customized wallet, there's 100 of them now.
The commoditization that's going on today on that platform, I don't care what part of consumer goods you're in, I don't care what category it is. There are 71 commoditized brands. And by the way, brands, I have 12 consonants in a row you've never heard of, but they are solution benefit based products. You have a widget that'll solve chocolate, vanilla, ABC, done. You get it in half an hour at your house. That's all over the place. Like there's literally all over the place. So like where you're going down the road with this experiential stuff, I think there, and by the way, the ROI on doing experiential events and pop-ups and the pumpkins and this and that, it's zero, right? Today. But you need to be doing, I think, a compendium of these things to add some sort of stickiness and like why Mr. and Mrs. Legacy brand is still relevant.
Yeah, I was also thinking how I tried buying, maybe you get to a certain point in your life, you don't want to buy the commoditized product. You want to buy the handmade mug made by the artisan. Those are not, well, that's actually, now that I think of it, this is really the first time I thought of it. We bought a certain mug from a farmer's market upstate New York, and the mug broke. We wanted to replace it. We went to the guy's website. But I think you needed to enter that ecosystem from that personalized thing. We loved that mug from the experiential being the farmer's market, and the replacement we knew would not be on Amazon. So there is a danger of going into the Amazon ecosystem, and then you're like, it's all commodity at that point. I want a mug. Oh, there's another mug. Cheaper, better, faster. I would argue when you say the ROI too, the ROI on that initial mug from the farmer's market where I met the artist, etc. Well, he got 2 orders from me at that point. Like the one and then the website, and probably spent more I would have than on the mug. Certainly more than I would have on Amazon. So maybe look at that lifetime value. You're eventually going to break your mug. I've never had a mug last 5 years, and that might be the only solution. But I wonder also depends on the product. If you're dealing with an iPhone case, I don't know. You're dealing with a handmade mug. So maybe that's where we all go to when we have this personalized experience. Maybe products start getting divided between commoditized and personalized, and Amazon becomes the commoditized world.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, look, they're a distribution and media platform. And what I've seen, and it sounds like I think you're going in the same direction. The brands, other than your farmer's market guy, the brands that treat it that way, rather than say, hey, I just want to just go let Amazon go run my brand, they're not going to be anything like as successful as the people that are in there treating it as a channel for what it is, and also for what it's not, and then sort of curating, the merchandising assortment for that platform, and then saying, okay, what else do I do? That's got to go in my store. That's got to go on my brand.com, et cetera. I mean,
Yeah, no,
you're
I was thinking more societally, and I think in a way, maybe the mechanism has to start getting across. Hey, you could order that fancy Rolex on Amazon. You can, but we want you to come in. We want to serve you that coffee as you come in. Please let us measure your wrist the right way and weigh it and all the other parts that are there anyway. Meaning, if you go to the shoe store, I was thinking to myself recently when it comes to this experiential, I don't remember the last time I had someone measure my foot.
so you're talking about those old steel things with the thing and like this.
Yeah,
I
Zappo
couldn't
killed
tell you.
that in a way.
Yeah.
You order a 9, 9.5, a 10, you get all 3, you return 2 of them, you're done. Now we're not measuring our but maybe it's worth it. Maybe that's where we should be moving our needle, in to sell more. My pause is because philosophically, I'm wondering what society needs. I was reading an article that high which you and I mean, shouldn't even risk saying was you and I can't speak about. High-end bras were doing better because the need to have that personalized experience of measurement. And I
I was
thought,
in that business, women's intimates business.
okay, good. Then you could speak to it.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about because I don't know the exact portion of women that have literally never been properly fitted.
Yeah, yeah.
And like they're all there. I hate my bra. I hate bras. I hate bras. All that. But like the ones that get like really well done, like, oh, like I didn't know I was a blah, 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 whatever size, cup and band size. I had no idea these even existed. Right. And like it's life changing. Again, it's really like mind altering to like, oh, this whole category now is wide open to me. Where once I was blind, now I see. It's like that.
I'd actually wonder, now that we're having this philosophical twist to the conversation, if historically brands who are always experiential is a buzzword, who are hands-on, who knew how to I mean, I heard stories growing up. My grandfather sold at Macy's, and before that, Alexander's, I think it was. And he would tell people like, "No, there's no sale. Come back next week." Well, that wasn't a pop-up, but it was certainly an experiential moment that they knew that sales guy and the trust was there. And I think that's always been the success. You go to this small town, where do you go? I go to the general store, talk to Fred, he's a great guy. I just was up in Canada and they knew, oh, go to Williams's store, talk to Mr. Williams. He'll know exactly what you need.
Third street on the left, hang a right. If you see 4 cows, you've gone too far, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think we do need those. And also the societal balance is how do you support those operationally, functionally in a world where we're used to instant press move, instant press move. I would actually bucket it's that personalization, the experiential, the farmer's market, the general store, the Kickstarter. I'm invested in it emotionally. And you have that side and the Amazon, Facebook Live and the TikTok Live sales. And then on the other side of that, we have a society which is press the button, order 10 pairs of shoes. No one's going to measure my foot. There is a place for each, but it's also, I think, a society that is trying to figure out what we want and where we want it and how we want it. And I think society is dictating it as much as the brands and retailers are.
Yeah, well, I agree with everything you said. I'm just sort of wondering. Look, you and I are both advisors to AI companies. We're on the front lines of this stuff, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like where are you seeing, if at all, because there's what you read in the press and then there's like real, right? And we're in the trenches of real, right? And this is very different than what you read. Where are you seeing AI today create any genuine measurable impact in retail now? Or is it just at the moment hype and there's no real results on the ground yet?
I think when it's combining the two worlds, I hate dividing worlds, and this conversation we philosophically came up with it. I've used AI to say, look at my call log and tell me who I've not called recently. I have the CRM. Look at this and tell me this. It needs the personal element, and the AI is the enhancement of the commoditization. Sort through this list of XYZ and tell me where I need to take that action. I would look at the most successful being almost that example I said, sort the spreadsheet, tell me the top 10 customers. But if I could say instead, show me the 10 and then eliminate anyone I shouldn't call because I've already called them because of this, because of that. And then give me the 3 bullet points based on their ordering history of what I should bring up. The AI is setting the script for me to be personalized and say, listen, Tim, you've ordered 27 of this. Maybe we should talk. How can I help you? Maybe I could connect these dots. So I think the most successful is using the AI as the extension of the human to expedite their humanness.
So if you're smart and if you're good at your craft, whatever it is, it's an accelerant for what good work. Good. See
It
that?
is. You did perfect. You re-articulated me better than I could speak good myself.
Well, that's frightening. But I'm going to mark that down that I did that today. I'm
You
very
did.
proud of that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, to me, what you're saying though, I'm just synthesizing all this and listening intently and getting a picture in my head. If you're marginal at what you do, it's going to accelerate your marginalness. But if you're very good, it takes the day-to-day heft out of your system. It does it and allows you to get even tighter and broader on whatever it is you're doing.
And I'm just thinking it out loud. In the past week, I'm even thinking, I remember I was running to a meeting and hey, Tim, let's go get coffee. And I remember I didn't have the time to stop to even look at the phone. So I pop in the AirPod. Hey, Siri, tell me local coffee places that are open right now. It was something like, hey, Siri, whatever. And the point is, it accelerates it. Reminds me in a way, one major celebrity who just died. I forgot who. Meeting. 11:58, one meeting ends. CNN, I'm in the studio. I popped in the AirPod, called my right hand Angela and said, Angela, I'm going to remember everything you tell me in the next 3 minutes. I need you to give me this person's bio who just died. I'm going on air. And I'm literally like, makeup, the whole 9 yards. There's the
Yeah. You
AirPod
got
ready.
the hankies here.
Whole 9 yards. And then I walked on air, do the interview. The woman goes like, wow, you're like really an expert at so-and-so who died. Like, no, I just memorized it. And it reminded me, in that case, the human, Angela, was able to help me, but it would be even better AI replacing that portion and having Angela do what she does best. She's one of the best managers I ever had. Let her manage, not dictate in my ear a Wikipedia page. That was a waste of time. It was better. Hey, Angela, watch the clip. Be more of a human. Tell me if I did the right job. In the Wikipedia, the chat, which it does now, the ChatGPT reads the information ahead of time.
So you don't want the A in your AI to be Angela, is what you're telling me.
And I want her to be a human and let
There
the
you go.
humans be the humans.
Because it's never going to be good at telling you and being honest with you and say, you know what, you have food on your shirt. You look ridiculous. It's not going to be honest. It's not going to do that.
No. And it will not. So you're using the AI as the human accelerant, not the human replacement.
Yes, it's fascinating. I mean, you're getting into these societal things, which I love. I love this. Where are you on all this at a macro level? Because I know you think like this. Is it making people dumber or smarter? What's that look like in 2-3 years' time?
My answer is yes.
That's a great answer, by the way, for that.
I think it depends on the usage, the means
That's
of
the
usage.
best answer to that question I think I've ever had. Now, please tell me where you're going with that, because I think I get it.
No, I think if you're using AI, again, as the replacement, not good. Don't let it do your homework. If you're using it for a meeting Tim right now for coffee, and I need to find a place for Tim for coffee, I've used it recently. We have an hour conversation. I need to take Tim's 10 notes and compile and remember. Then it's going to make you smarter, faster, etc. It removes those moments of oh my God, I remember I had a call about 7-10 years ago. I'm on the phone with the guy for 45 minutes and he's like, oh, remember when we spoke about this in person? No. It was an awkward moment. I didn't remember the guy. In 45 minutes, I had no recollection.
Yeah.
And if I had AI, I would have been able to eliminate that. On the same token, if I'm just pressing a button, respond to whatever Tim says, not as good. You don't want to have it replace. If you're following the path, a replace or accelerant. One's going to make you smarter, or one's going to make you replaced yourself. That was too
I
deep.
honestly, I couldn't agree with that more. I mean, like I hear these naysayers and these doomsday people, and I honestly I think they all need to get a life. But I do agree that there will be a community of people that just latch onto this as a replacement, like you say. It's not gonna end well for them. It's not. But like the folks that are like already like masters of their craft, really dialed in on whatever they do. I don't care what it is, it just makes them faster, better, smarter, what have you. I think it's fascinating that you're getting to that same place societally.
I think society is also dictating on all these things. AI, society dictated during COVID, the delivery and return mentality. Society dictated with eBay, the resale market coming to fruition.
By the way, on fire. And it took a while, but that whole reused apparel, recycled, upcycled, whatever, what have you, unbelievable, on fire. And it took a while for that to get going, but man, it's there.
No, I think society dictates so much more. And I've seen this on the media side. I'd always hear people go, oh, the media dictates what we read. No. If you didn't read it, they wouldn't write it. If you didn't watch it, they wouldn't, sit.
Isn't that just like the meritocracy of it all? Like it's people lose that, by the way. They don't.
We are unfortunately, the issue with social media and media in general is in Reflect Society, we've magnified and accelerated that experience. You click the post, you like the post, it goes viral. But we've done that from the day of man. We're now doing it faster.
I get it. So, it's really, I guess my question is this: how, as these LLMs become bigger, more powerful, more pervasive, and just more sort of ingrained in our lives, how do you think that's going to change, if at all, the balance of power, as they would say, between large platforms and the brands? I always come back to the brands that are trying to build either inside or outside of them. How are you seeing that all shake out over the next couple, 3 years?
I don't know if we've found the answer to that yet. I'm worried about it in that.
Me too, by
Right.
the way.
Yeah. I'm worried because we are at a stage right now of 90% of LinkedIn posts are AI generated images. I'm going to this conference and I'm guilty of it myself.
Yes.
Well, that was an accelerant. I just needed the post up quick. But then it's all AI speaking to AI after a while. And I worry.
Just a business started and sold on that. It's amazing to me.
That's what worries me, though, is that, but all systems I feel naturally re-regulate. And eventually we're going to have either posts not get interacted, which are the AI posts, or hopefully so, or I want organic or content. Hell, I'm doing RTM Nexus. We're having a lot of people coming to the events because they want the in-person. They don't want the AI to respond to. Society is always going to rebalance and redictate. Just a matter of when.
I could not possibly agree with you more on that. I was at a NRF dinner earlier this year. A guy from Movado. These are senior guys. Guy from Movado and a guy from CrossPen. I've forgotten the brand, but it was a fancy, fancy higher end stuff. Both of them told me Movado, so anachronistic Swiss watches, manual wound, no batteries, whatever. Business on fire. On fire. Cross pens. I can't think of a more anachronistic thing than a fancy high-end pen today. Guys, on the business is just soaring. People, I think, have already come full circle on so much of this stuff. They're aching for experiences. They're aching for that element.
We had this happen through COVID, and then we're all ordering in, and we're all going out to dinner, sitting outside, and society is always, we vote liberal, we vote conservative. We do this, we do this. That's the nature of the beast. I thank you for this whole conversation. I thank you. I've learned, I've gotten more philosophical in this particular podcast than any other. I'll give you that.
That is so much fun. Thank you, seriously, Dominic. Thank you so much for your time.
Amazing.
Pleasure speaking with you, and wish you all the best.
You are amazing.